Advocates call it the gold standard of child welfare laws. Critics say the Indian Child Welfare Act, which gives Native families priority for placement of Indigenous foster children, is racist and unconstitutional. The Supreme Court heard arguments in the case yesterday. Cronkite News reporter Haley Smilow has the story from our Washington bureau.
Justices spent hours grappling with whether the Indian Child Welfare Act should be enforced on Native families. But outside the court, the answer was clear.
We will not go back to a time when our children were stolen and taken away from their homes. We will not go back to a time when we lost our voice and our power to protect our families.
Martin was one of the many tribal leaders and protesters at the court who argued that ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act, is needed to keep tribal cultures and traditions strong after generations of Native children being separated from their families. Under the law, tribes and Indigenous families have priority when it comes to placing a Native child for adoption or foster care. The law was challenged by a white couple from Texas, the Rakeens, whose effort to adopt a Navajo child were stalled by ICWA. They argue that it is racist and unconstitutional. But for some in the crowd, like dancer GLAUDE, the arguments in Bracken v. Holland hit close to home.
I'm a former foster child, and all my siblings were adopted out to non-Indigenous families and taken from my mother, and it's imperative that we keep our children with our communities.
The Arizona Department of Child Safety says there were 957 Native American children in the foster care system this fall, which means a ruling in the case will deeply impact Arizona, says Autumn Adams, a student at the Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law.
Arizona is home to 22 federally recognized tribes, so the impact will be very deeply felt, considering just the sheer amount of Native population.
Impacts that the Indian community wants to make sure go its way. Von Sharp, the president of the National Congress of American Indians, said it's an issue she will not stop fighting for.
We know that this fight is long from over. We know that for generations to come, we're going to come back stronger, more resilient, more determined, and we will not give up on a single child.
While tribal leaders say they're confident of a win, we're not likely to know for months, with a decision not likely before late spring or early summer. From the Supreme Court, Haley Smilow, Cronkite News.